Hi, friends. Today we're going to talk about the 5 C's of living your greatest ambitions. The 5 C's of living your greatest ambition. Yes, today we're talking about going after living from the inside out all of your magnificence and glory. So many times, people in this culture look outside of them. They pick a vision and a goal and a why and a mission and tactics, and it's all outside of themselves. When really, the whole idea of knowing your why and the whole idea of living your ambition is all inside. It's called an internal locus of control, where my mind, my heart, and my gut, my spirit are all aligned. And then I come together and act upon the world. So many people are living outside of themselves, which is an external locus of control, meaning that they give the whole world and the environment all the power, all of the energy, and they miss the mark. And then there's this kind of existential loneliness or this existential angst or this hole that they can't fill. Well, it's because they're looking outside of themselves for the answer. The external locus of control people are the go, 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 because they're grabbing to try to fill a hole that can only be filled from the inside out. That's the ultimate paradox, I think, sometimes. And so I want to talk about the 5 C's that will support you in turning within, empowering your inside, so that as you come into the world, something great happens, and it's because it's your authentic self showing up. So the first C that I want to talk about is compassion. And compassion is very powerful, it's very meaningful, and it adds quality to life. So when you have high levels of compassion for yourself and others, you can live in a state of forgiveness, because forgiveness means to have compassion for, meaning I can have compassion for you for the grand adventure of being human. I can have compassion for me for the grand adventure of being human, right? Because it's kind of rocky sometimes and exciting sometimes and anxious sometimes and sad sometimes. It's all different. So if you want depth and you want quality of life, compassion is the foundation. Compassion. We don't know what anyone is going through. And some people are unaware enough that they're not even fully sure about what they're going through. There's so many factors in the world. So it's important that if we want to have a nice quality of life, that we have a sense of compassion for ourselves and others. Nobody wakes up every morning saying, let me screw my life up the best I can today. Even people who've made major mistakes wake up in the morning wanting to do their best. So, what are you doing? How are you enhancing self-compassion? Being gentle and kind with yourself. That doesn't mean making excuses for things you know you shouldn't be doing. It doesn't mean blaming. It means having compassion and stopping right there. Can you do that? It will improve the quality of your life. The second of the 5 C's is candor. Now, candor is a fun word that goes with honesty and integrity and curiosity all together. I think there's a little courage in there too, right? So candor is about telling the truth, being the love that you want. It's not giving or receiving. It's being the essence of the thing. So if your vision and your ambition is to be inspiring, then you're not giving inspiration and you're not receiving inspiration. You are the inspiration. Like the lighthouse just shines. The sun just shines and the earth receives, and it's a beautiful reciprocal situation, right? So candor is having that curiosity, open, aware, like a kid at Disney World. That's why I have my Minnie Mouse hat on. It's about courage. It is about compassion. It is about allowing ourselves to live and be the truth of our being, our soul, our heart, and our mind in a way that is authentic and aligned. And you know it, you've been around people who they're smiling on the outside, but something else is going on. It means that we don't harbor undisclosed motives, right? And we allow ourselves to speak our truth in a way that is meaningful and that is respectful of all people. So you can speak your truth and still be respectful. You can disagree and still be respectful. You can say your opinion or your idea in multiple ways, whether it's with words or maybe music or maybe art or maybe dance or maybe the look on your face. And we can still be respectful and curious, and we can live in our courage. It's a cool way to think about it. The next C is choice. We always have choices. We have a choice every minute of every day in everything that we do. So I always ask myself, is what I'm about to do for the highest good of all concerned? And that's how I make my choices. Another question I ask myself is what I'm about to do going to get me where I say I want to go? So if I say I want a certain goal and I'm doing something opposite of that, if I ask that question, it will remind me that maybe I'll be off course. So example, I have a client who is trying to eat healthier, not really for any other reason other than, inflammation in her body. She doesn't feel good. And so I said, okay, well, ask yourself the question, is what I'm about to eat going to get me where I say I want to go? So we know that gluten and white sugar and those things inflame her body. So if you're going to have cake, understand that it's not going to get you where you say you want to go. So if you ask the right discerning questions in advance, you use your power of choice. Now you can make better decisions and discernment along the way. So choice is really your friend. And you always have a choice. So when even I think it, or when people say I don't have a choice, the truth is you do have a choice. You may not like all the options, and so you think you only have one viable choice. But the truth is there's multiple choices every minute of every day, all the time. And the moment we become honest about that and we realize that we're always facing a choice point, always. You're facing a choice point. Do I listen to the podcast? Not listen to the podcast. Do I do this? Do I not do that? Do I eat this? Do I not eat that? What are we doing? What are our choices? And we want to choose thoughts, words, and actions that are resourceful and desirable. If we're going to live our greatest ambition, then it is imperative that we pay attention to what are we thinking about, what are we talking about, and how are we acting? So if I say I want to do a certain thing, like I'm an athlete and I want to get, maybe I'm a runner, even though I'm not really one. A runner wants to get to a certain time, and yet they walk really slowly like this. They're not going to get to that time. So the choice is about what am I going to do with my discipline of my thinking, of my words, and of my actions in order to get me to the desirable result, in order to get me into the place where I can receive the blessings of my ambition. There's so many factors. Put yourself in position to receive your blessing by making choices that align with what you say you want. So is what you're about to do going to get you where you say you want to go? So many times the people I'm working with, they say one thing, but yet they're not aware that their thinking and their words and their actions don't quite line up. So there's a lack of integrity here. And it's not an integrity of the person's intentionally being deceptive. They're just disconnected and not realizing that it's not totally alignment. That's why being a mentor like I am really can help people, because I can see what they can't see, because they have a blind spot and I can see. So it's beautiful, right? The fourth one is to think about consequence. Now, a lot of people think consequence is a bad word, like, oh, I pay consequence, and it's negative. Consequence is a neutral word. Everything we think has a consequence. Everything we say has a consequence. Everything we do has a consequence. All motion, all energy has a consequence. I think about the wind, right? The wind, you can't see it, but you can see the effect of it. So there's a consequence to the wind. There's a consequence to everything we do, think, and say. So pay attention. If you want to live your ambition and you really want to bring it to life and you want that deep quality of life, then we want to understand that consequences are our friends because they give us immediate feedback about our direction. This thought I'm having, is it getting me where I say I want to go? Or these words, how is it serving or not serving? The words can be verbal or written, right? Or maybe we're just looking for more clarity. So when we take any step into the world, we get immediate feedback. The consequence is immediate feedback to tell us if we're headed in the right direction or not. So when I have people who say that they're afraid to take the first step because it may not be the right one, I'm like, that's all right. Start ugly. Because when you take that step, the universe immediately tells you if you're in the right place or not. It immediately gives you feedback if you're going in the right direction. If I back my car out of the driveway and I need to go right, but I go left, I'm going to get immediate feedback because I'm going to run into a dead end, literally. So it's all about consequence. It's about thinking forward. It's about clarity that goes with the word consequence. So rather than having consequence be this negative thing of you paid consequences. Well, we're all paying consequences all the time for everything we think, everything we say, everything we do, all of our relations, all the energy we put out into the world. If I'm smiling, but yet I'm upset, or I'm acting all upset, or any of those things, everything comes back to give us more clarity, to make better choices, to live our vision. So the universe, your world, is a beautiful feedback loop. It's always giving you, giving me, giving everyone information about where we're going to go or what's happening and what the consequence is of what's going on within us and around us. So we want to accept these consequences and say, you're my friends. If I'm going to say I'm not going to eat chocolate cake and then I eat a bunch of chocolate cake and I don't feel good, that's a consequence to remind me that it wasn't in alignment with my integrity, was it? So next time I have a choice to do something differently, because we do have free will and we always have a choice. Always we have a choice. And the fifth one is one of my favorites. It's about connection. You've heard me say this before. Connection is the correction. Connection has three parts to it: connecting to our universe, our world at large, connecting to other people and beings, like our dogs and cats, other sentient beings and humans, and then connection to within ourselves. So the world at large includes the divine, it includes the greater power, all those things. It includes nature, it includes Mother Earth, includes the sky, the star. It also includes our own inner connection. And the fifth C is all about connection. Connection is so important. It has to do with three different kinds of connection. Connection to the greater world, the universe, everything around us. Connection within to our own essence. And connection to other beings, like other humans and animals, right? So there's all different points of connection. And this connection is what awakens the connection between our mind, our heart, and our soul. And as this integrity and this connection is awakened and we have flow going on in our world like this, right? And we're breathing more fully and we're connected, then that internal locus of control comes forward and we are able to do what we need to do. We are able to live our vision. We're able to live by our ambition in a clear, beautiful, amazing, empowered way. So let's review the 5 C's. 1 is compassion for yourself and others. Have some compassion. It's okay. If you messed up, you messed up. If you did great, you did great. It's okay. It's all going to be okay. Number 2 is having candor. And this has to do with being curious, having compassion and courage, and telling the truth and being in integrity with it. That our words match our thoughts, our face looks like how our insides feel, and we are living with an authentic reality. Then there's choice. We always have a choice. Always, always. Even when you think I don't have any choices or I don't have a choice here, that's a perception. And it really is important that we remember that we always have choices. So we want to release the good and the bad and the black and the white and the duality here. The duality can go away and we can start saying, is it resourceful? Is this choice going to get me where I say I want to go? These things serve much better than is it right or is it wrong? Because with the right-wrong dialogue could possibly get us into right fighting. It's more important to look for, is it resourceful? Is it beneficial? Is it working? Is it taking me where I say I want to go? Then we have consequence, where we need to make friends with the word consequence, because consequence is not a negative word. It's a positive word. It reminds us that we are co-creators, that we are actually impacting the world with our energy, our presence, our words, our actions. We are influencing the world. And that's a consequence. What is that, right? So pay attention. Consequences give you clarity, and they help you discern whether what you're doing and what you're saying is getting you where you say you want to go. So there you go. Then number 5 is connection. Connection is the correction. The more connected I am within, the more connected I am to the greater universe, and the more connected I am to other beings, then the more effective and beneficial my life is, the higher my quality of life, and the more I live my authentic ambition. Now, I don't know about you, but I love to live my ambition and my vision. I love to inspire and educate people, and I love to remind people of their beauty and goodness and essence. So if you like this video, share it with your friends, tell people about it, or not, right? Because we have a consequence for everything we do. What I want to leave you with is that these 5 C's are only part of the foundation. If you really want to live your vision and you want to have that ambition be this guiding North Star, if you will, what really is important is that you have multiple peer groups and somebody in your corner, somebody working with you, walking with you side by side down your life's journey, so that you have another being, another person who can help you see what you cannot see. Without those people in my life, I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am today. Without those people walking with me, showing me what I cannot see on my own. That's one of the reasons why I love my work, because I've experienced the power of people doing it for me. And I've experienced the power of my presence being able to be that anchor for other people. So it's a give and take. There's always something beautiful happening in the world. So thank you for watching this episode or listening to this episode of Someone Gets Me. I am delighted that you're here with me. And remember, there's 5 C's that are the basic idea for living your ambition and your vision and improving the quality of your life in immeasurable ways. Until the next episode, be well.